It's my pleasure to have you on the show because we've been in contact for a long time now, following Pakistan cricket, and let me actually just ask you to start with, Rabail. Why the fascination with cricket as a young Pakistani fan? What's the real obsession there?
Can you hear me, Andrew?
Yes, yes, I can hear you clearly.
Hey, your voice. There was a lot of distortion. Can you just repeat your question
Oh,
and we can start?
it was just to ask you, where does the excitement and passion you have for cricket come from? Because I know you're a highly passionate fan. You're always commenting on the cricket. I just wondered a little bit about how you get yourself so excited about following Pakistan cricket.
Actually, I was quite young since I started watching cricket and Champions Trophy 2017. Pakistan was the winner of the tournament and it was my first international tournament which I watched as a crazy fan. And after that, 2019 World Cup, and there's been a lot of cricket since then. And Pakistan, they have quite improved. And then Babar Azam, Shaheen Shah Afridi, there are many stars who have brought the interest of Pakistani fans back into the team, back into the cricket. So yeah, like just like that, I became a fan, and then from a fan to a crazy fan and a passionate fan.
Oh, amazing. Anyway, so we're here to review the match today in Queenstown in New Zealand, which is, of course, my home country. And the the White Ferns, as they're known, batted first, and they put on a pretty impressive score actually, 365 for five, with the top four batters all making really good contributions. Susie Bates made 108, Bernadine Bezadenhout 86, Amelia Kerr 83, Sophie Devine 70. And so in reply, Pakistan were bowled out in the last over, the second to last ball of the match actually, for 234, but very, very good contribution and an amazing century there by Sidra Amin. So, Rabail, what were your thoughts on the match first and foremost?
First of all, congratulations, your team. They were quite brilliant with the bat today. They put a mammoth total on the board, 63, 65. It is a very scary total for the opposition. And yeah, top four, all of them contributed to the bat brilliantly. Bates got 108, and she was the man of the match as well for that. And then Bernadette, she was also very, very good. Unfortunate for her, she got run out. And then the other two as well, Karen Levin 83 and 70 respectively. So the top four, in any format of the game, top four or five, they have a huge, huge role and a burden on their shoulders. They have to play a role in the batting, and they all did. Due to which they were able to put a huge score on the board. And in reply, of Pakistan, they were bundled out for 234. Yeah, on second last ball of the match. Other than Sadrami and Muniba Ali, the opening pair, none of the batter could contribute in the match. Sadra Amin, she got 105 and she became the only Pakistani to got four one-day centuries. And other than that, Munib Ali, she was managed to score 44, but there were no significant contributions other than that.
Yeah, just looking at the fall of wickets, actually, Rabail, when Muniba Ali went out, it was in the 19th over, and they were 110 without loss at that point. So, actually, I remember tuning in, just having a quick look at the scorecard earlier in the day when I was out and about, and I thought, wow, they're actually in a very strong position here. But as you say, they kind of fell away after that. The next highest score was 14. What would you put that down to, Rabail? Why do you think that the team, coming off a series win in the T20 series, weren't able to threaten New Zealand with the bat today?
Great start, to be honest. The opening stand, it was quite brilliant. But after that, the wickets just they kept on filling, which kept Pakistan under pressure, and they were not even able to score 250 even. So yeah, I think I don't know why they did that, but they maybe took extra pressure, but they should have played more responsibly, I guess. Alia Riaz, Bismad, we have a lot of good players, senior players, but they didn't do well with the bat today.
Yeah, it's a shame for them, but it's been a good tour though by Pakistan so far. Fairly early in the season by New Zealand standards, and a lot of the time that means pitches that are sort of tailor made for the New Zealand side. But you must be absolutely delighted with the way that the Pakistan women's side have performed in New Zealand, Rabail.
Have to agree they were remarkable on the tour. The matches they have also have been quite exciting, especially the T20. If you talk about T20s, all three of them they were quite good. Although the first one we won that match single-handedly, but other two matches they were very good matches, good for the people audience. And then obviously Pakistan they registered a home series, away series win after 5 years. So it has to be a big day for them.
Absolutely. But also, let's just sort of rewind a little bit, Rabail. So, I went to Pakistan for the first time in March 2022, and one of the things that struck me was the level of interest by Pakistanis generally, but particularly young Pakistani women, and they really love their cricket in the same way that you do. But it doesn't necessarily translate into playing numbers in the women's game. And I spoke to quite a few people about that, and I suppose that this is people who've someone like Hadil Obaid, for example, who set up Kilo Cricket, and a few other people. Um, but basically, Pakistan's had a challenge in the past of getting together playing numbers. Um, so I just wondered whether you could give us a little bit of background on that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think in Pakistan, people love cricket, they are very passionate about it, but it's mostly about men's cricket. And women's cricket, they're not given much importance as the men, it was very evident in this series as well. They weren't broadcasted in Pakistan, which was a huge blow for all the fans and for even for the team as well. So I think yeah, it's very necessary that we should be giving equal importance to both of the men and female, sports. And regarding women cricket, they do not play much matches as compared to the other English teams, especially New Zealand, England, Australia. And then if we compare that to Pakistan, then they play very less number of matches compared to them. So yeah, I think PCB should have been arranging more and more one days and T20s for them. It's very necessary, if you want to groom up your team and develop young players, then it has to, that you have to give them matches because without international experience, you can't, groom and develop players.
Yeah, I just kind of think back to when, not even that long ago, what was it? It was probably around about, I don't know, a year or a year and a bit ago when Ramiz Raja was still the chairman of the Pakistan Cricket Board, and he introduced the JPL, like the junior league, and which was for the men. So I just wondered, are there any other initiatives that are going on in terms of trying to just produce more players to make it a little bit more competitive in the women's match?
Ramiz Raja, he took many initiatives for that. And I think if talk about women cricket, then there should have been a women PSL as well, don't you think? PSL is already very trusting and it gathers the interest of fans all around the world. So why not we arrange a women PSL for women? Or
Oh,
maybe yeah, like the junior PSL or the junior domestic tournament, like Qaeda Azam Trophy and all those tournaments, they should have been for the women as well.
yeah, yeah. I guess these things sort of take time, but I guess you can, at the same time, you can also take a lot of kind of inspiration and hope. I guess, particularly if you look at what's happening in the women's game in England. Um, where you have, on days like for the 100, for example, you have both games, men and women, playing on the same day. Um, I think it's in England now where the prize money is going to be the same. There's quite a few different factors that are actually um, happening in other parts of the world, and let's just hope Pakistan,
Yeah,
can
I
take
completely
some
agree.
inspiration.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, well, so I guess in that sense, against that background, I mean, I've seen a lot of people say online and on Twitter, which you and I are both pretty active on, about this being such a historic win for the Pakistan women's team in New Zealand. And bearing in mind, they also won the first two matches. Like the last match was a dead rubber. So seriously impressive. I just thought maybe let's have a look at some of these performances from the T20 series. What did you make of it? What were some of the highlights and perhaps some of the outstanding performers and players?
The star of the show, you could say, the star of the series was definitely Fatma Sana. Was outstanding. I really, really got to praise her. In the first match, she took 3 wickets, and that too, just with the economy of 4.5. She gave away only 18 runs and was definitely, the player of the match in the first T20I. And then again, she took 3 wickets in the second match as well and gave away 22 runs. So yeah, I think Fatma Sana, she's a brilliant player, and she not even, she's not even bad, isn't bad with the bat as well. She's quite fine. She just needs to be, groomed a bit maybe with the bat. She needs to show more responsibility. But if we talk about her, all-round performances, then I'm really impressed by her.
And what do you think was the difference between the two sides, Rabail? Because I guess from a New Zealand perspective, it was quite unexpected given the strength and experience of the side. What do you think it was that tipped the series in Pakistan's favour?
I think the major difference was bowling between the two sides. If you talk about Pakistan's bowling, there were maximum players who chipped in and took 1 wicket each or 2 wickets at least each. But New Zealand, if you talk about their bowlers, they did not manage to get much wickets. There were, one or two players who did get wickets or who did perform with the bat, but majority of them, I think they did not play as a team properly. They were very good individual performances. Susie Bates, he was very good with the bat, and then there were one or two other players as well who were very good with the ball as well, but they did not play well as a team, which is why I think they lost.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, New Zealand's women's team has some serious depth with their batting, which today's one day international showed. But seems we were a little bit caught short with our bowling. But anyway, so what?
Exactly, and they're quite, good with the bat. But that was, I think, the unexpected thing in the first T20I as well, when they were just able to score 127, although they have superb batting lineup.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be the first time in either form of the match or either form of the in cricket in general when it comes to New Zealand and Pakistan, Rabail. New Zealand men and women now have succumbed to Pakistan's bowling. I remember growing up as a kid and New Zealand needing to chase about 120 or 130 in Hamilton, and Waqar Yunus and Wasim Akram just ran through all our players, um, and we lost. We were humbled pretty badly. Um, and just since we're talking of the men's series, I know you're an avid fan of the Pakistan side, Babar Azam in particular. First of all, let me ask you, what did you make of the fact that that Babar Azam is no longer the captain of the Pakistan side?
That's, I think, a very disheartening question. Yeah, I think Babar Azam, he is currently not the captain, but I believe that he'll be the captain again after a year, maybe, or even less than that. Because basically, I don't know why they want to try and experiment the things, and they made Shan Masood as captain and Shaheen Shah the T20I captain. Although there was no problem with T20 captaincy, and we were good in last two World Cups. We went in the semi-final once, and then we played the final. So I think there was no need to change that captaincy. It was quite fine. It was fine, honestly speaking. But then again, they just wanted to, experiment. There's a lot of experimenting going on in the PCB. It's becoming a lot of controversial. It's taking actually a lot of controversial decisions, and so I have nothing to say other than
Yeah,
that. And Babar Azam will become the captain very soon. Once again, I believe.
yeah. I mean, from my perspective, and I don't I haven't really commented much on Baba's captaincy, even though I've obviously watched a lot of Pakistan cricket in the last sort of 18 months or so. Um, I think he's got a tough job, and I've got absolutely, well, had a tough job, I should say. But I've got no doubt as well that there's so much outside influence on him as a person, as the captain of the side. Having to face the media, having to talk about selection, having fans with so many opinions. I actually think his on-field captaincy is pretty good generally. So yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Maybe just a break from it for a while would be a good thing for him because one thing's for sure, although he didn't have a great World Cup, generally Bubba's batting doesn't seem to get affected by him being captain.
Many people arguing, they are giving the reason for his captaincy that now he is the captain, so he can't do anything, all that pressure and negative things are affecting his batting. But I think it's not like that. If you look at the stats, then his previous 2 years batting and, 3 years even, they're quite good. 60 plus average in one days, and then, 50 plus average in T20s, and same as in Test as well. So I think his batting stats have quite improved in his captaincy era even they were like before that. So they have improved. I don't know why people say that he's taking pressure of captaincy, so he couldn't bat and all.
Mm. Oh well, I suppose sometimes time change is good, but it was also a bit bizarre that what Mickey Arthur said about him is that he needed to be educated and go on a journey as a captain. I just thought, wow, that's really not a cool thing to say about your captain. But we'll leave that there for now. But it's only 2 days now until the first Test match in Perth for the Pakistan men's side. How are you expecting them to go, Rabail?
Yeah, and sorry, your voice was disturbed a bit. You're asking about the Australia series, right?
Yeah, I mean it's just a couple of days now until the first Test match in Perth. There's been some discussion
Yeah,
about
right.
quality of the wicket in a warm up match in Canberra. Um, so maybe you want to comment on that, possibly, or just I'm just keen to get your thoughts on how do you think Pakistan will go, playing in this Test series because they don't play that much Test cricket. I think the last series was against Sri Lanka in June or July.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I
how
agree.
do you think
Yes.
it's going to go?
Yeah, we are playing white ball more. Yeah, so honestly, regarding the Australia series, I don't have much expectations. We don't have much, good records in Australia, especially for the test. It will be a miracle even if we get to manage one match at least. So I'm hoping that we don't at least lose the series, maybe tie them 1-1, or that would be also difficult. All the matches would be, I think, result oriented because if you have looked at the pitch, it looked so grassy and green. So it would be a very, very big challenge for the batters, but on the both sides, not only Pakistan. Like we have good bowlers as well, Shaheen Shah, Afridi. So maybe we can challenge Australian batters as well because the pitch will definitely support bowlers. And yeah, regarding Abrar Ahmed, his injury, it's a very big blow to Pakistan, I guess. we are already struggling with the spinners, in red ball cricket especially. So Abrar missing out, it's not good.
Yeah, I was quite impressed with Abra remember I was in Pakistan for the New Zealand series, which was sort of ran over New Year and into January last year. I thought Abra was actually really, really impressive. So I'm with you completely on that. That he's going to be a big loss. Um, just looking at the test side itself,
Definitely.
um, just looking at the test side itself, when I looked at the likely lineup, where you've got Abdullah Shafiq, uh, Imam ul Haq, Shah Masood, Babar Azam, Saud Shakil, Safraz, the wicketkeeper batsman, and uh, Aga Salman. It looks a pretty strong batting lineup to me. Actually, I, I'm quite confident that Pakistan will bat well in this series.
On paper it looks very strong. I just hope that they don't collapse. And yeah, there was discussion going on between Rizwan and Sarfraz as well, that who would play the first match. Who do you think, Andrew? What are your views on that?
Well, look, I'm a huge fan of Mohammad Rizwan. As a cricketer generally. I think he adds so much to the team, and he's got so much energy. He could easily play just as a batsman if he had to. He's that good. But I also think he's an exceptional wicketkeeper. And I guess I was very surprised when he got dropped for the New Zealand series. Just under 12 months ago. But Safraz, when he came in, did exceptionally well. So um, it's a toss of a coin, really. But for the future of Pakistan cricket, I'd be playing Mohammad Rizwan in every single match. I think he's an outstanding player. He's got shots all around the ground. Whether he can grind scores out in the same way that, say, Babar and Safraz and Saud Shakil can is I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I would have him in my team absolutely, no matter what. And
Yeah, even I
unfortunately,
would choose, yes, same. I would even choose Rizwan. I think this shouldn't even be a discussion, wicket keeping, it's a very important integral part, if you're playing any format, wicket keeping is important. And Sarfraz, he hasn't been, up to the mark in wicket keeping. Let's put batting aside. If we just compare, keeping between Rizwan and Sarfraz, then Rizwan, he's miles ahead of him. So I think you need a good and proper wicket keeper in Test cricket, the longest format of the game. So I think Rizwan should definitely play, and he should be preferred over Sarfaraz.
yeah, I just thinking back to that series, the New Zealand series, and I didn't see much of the Pakistan Sri Lanka series, but the New Zealand series, Safra's wicket keeping wasn't that great. I remember that clearly, um, and yeah, he's he's if selected, he's got to perform because if he doesn't, then they've got a more than excellent replacement in Rizwan. So we'll have to wait and see. Rabail, I just thought about one other thing I'd love to get your opinion on is
Rizwan's been superb with the gloves.
yeah. Um, Rabail, just as a final thought, I know you would have watched a lot of the World Cup on television. What did you actually make of Pakistan's performance in the World Cup, the 50 over World Cup that just finished in India?
Yeah, well, coming to our team's performance in World Cup, I think although I can't say that we were, perfect, we were superb in the game and all, but I can say that we were a bit unlucky as well. Uh, first two games, we won that easily, especially that Sri Lanka match. That was, outstanding, the record chase. And after that, India and Australia, we lost. But I think that after those two matches, we should have made a comeback. Afghanistan match, that match, I think we should have won that easily. And yeah, the South Africa one, that was, I think, the most, entertaining and probably the most controversial match as well in that World Cup. The last wicket and then the umpire's call and all. After that, the New Zealand chase, it was very well. The batting, Fakhar and Babar. And, probably I think if we have to just sum up the World Cup, our batting, bowling, batting was good in a few matches, but I think the bowling was the main concern. We probably, have, one of the most amazing fast bowlers, Shaheen Shah, Afridi, Haris Rauf, but they didn't click well, and Naseem was injured, obviously, and the spinners even they lacked, as well the spinning department. So I think we didn't play well as a team. And even in one or two matches when the bowling clicked, the batting failed. So I think there was no match in which we can say that batting, bowling, and fielding, all of them, they all were perfect. So yeah, I think we lacked that team combination.
Oh well, I think that's probably just about it for this first edition of the Pakistan Cricket Show with myself and Rabail. So I hope you've enjoyed listening to the show. We've certainly enjoyed talking about Pakistan cricket, which is very dear to my heart, having travelled to Pakistan 5 times in the last 18 months or so. And yeah, I'm very sad, Rabail, that the women's series is not on television in Pakistan. I really, really, really can't believe that, actually. I wish New Zealand TV made it available perhaps a bit more cheaply, or the New Zealand board um, did a bit themselves as well to make it available to people like yourself. So, on behalf of New Zealand, I'm very, very sorry about that.
I think both of the boards they should have coordinated a bit and should have made it available for all the fans, and even the team family members. They should have been watching here in Pakistan.
Okay, Rabail. Well, look, great to catch up with you. Great to do this first show with you, and look forward to our next show, which is coming up pretty soon. Hopefully, we'll be doing that on the 14th, which will be the day of the first Test match between the Pakistan men and the Aussies, and then the next day we've got another international between the New Zealand women and the Pakistan women. So, from me and Rabail, thanks very much for listening to the Pakistan Cricket Show. We'll catch you next time.